Thank you for joining us. My name is Eric Gerdine. I'm Field CTO for cPacket, and I'm joined with Ron Nevo, our CTO. And we're going to talk specifically about being proactive. So far we've been talking about reactive, right? Users are impacted, something's going on, a service has been degraded, or more specifically, there's a condition in the network or a condition on a server that's happened that the systems have already identified. So hopefully, in a proper future state, we are identifying the issue, hopefully fixing the issue, and avoiding the ticket in the first place, right? So this will actually reduce the number of human-created incidents and shift to more machine-created, hey, I did something, identified it, I was using different processes, I know the network, I know what's going on, and then I have a human in the loop giving me some guidance as once we surface this up, and therefore we'll get a better response when we're more proactive.
Yeah, so I think in a way it's kind of what we're thinking about is the nirvana that people were asking me about, which is, so today, the way I think about our users is they always dread the phone call, right? And it's always there is a fire that they have to fight. So in the day where they actually come in the morning and say, I don't have any fire to fight, can I go and check what I should do today, right? And can I use the system to tell me what is important, what can I actually do today that will make the network better? And we're using this triangle to kind of think about it, right? So if you think about data, information, knowledge, right? So we always start with the packets, trillions of packets, and we're able to take them into our dashboarding and show nice graphs and whatnot. And very quickly, you get to hundreds of graphs, and which graph should I look at? Which dashboard should I check? So what we're using the insights for is to say, okay, out of these hundreds and hundreds of things, here are a handful of things that are more important. And more important can be in the eye of the beholder, right? Can be more important because it's more severe, because it impacts a lot of stations, but I may not care about it because it's a different data center and I'm responsible to data center A. Or it may be security and I'm not dealing with security, right? So the idea is I am able to show and highlight, here are the handful of things that you should care about. And then again, in the beginning of the shift or at the end of the shift, you can say, okay, what things should I care about today? The use case we're going to show here is actually from our network, is a case where one of our clusters is getting busy. So it didn't generate any phone call yet, but it's certainly something there that is worth expanding the capacity of the server. Okay, so the idea here is I'm coming in the morning and I'm asking the users, what's new in the last 24 hours? Again, I don't have any phone calls, I don't have hot tickets to work with. What can you tell me about the network, right? And he says, well, he's looking for the last 24 hours, and he says, well, there are some clients that are having issues with latency, they are too slow, I'm seeing errors, and I'm seeing different locations. Now, I specifically, or the user specifically in this case, actually was interested in the what's going on with our core network, core engineering network. And which servers in our core engineering network have an issue. And this is the proxy, or this is the server that is actually having this resource utilization issue. So if that's now the one, so essentially, if you think about it, it's like, okay, there are many issues. Even when I reduce the hundreds to a handful, it's still a handful. I still need to pick one thing now to work on, right? So in that case, I was like, okay, tell me a little more about that specific server, right? And now he's going to go there, he's going to compare all the informations that we have, all the endpoint analysis, and endpoints that are talking to it, who is impacted by that network, and he's going to bring in more and more information about that one. And if you remember, the 1050.251.8 is our VLAN server, is the one that I'm unhappy with. So that's the one I'm going to chase, right? So now it's like, okay, there are many issues. Out of these issues, there is one specific thing that I think we can do something about it. And what you always see here is, to your point, some of the things that we embedded, some of the things that we're using Claude here. Anthropic, some of the things that Anthropic bring in, right? So, okay, so some of the classification, critical, not critical, that's come actually from the engine.
The difficulty I have is you don't know how reliable. I know that on the other side, the MCP service is reliable because you guys programmed it and you're experts. On the side of the LLM, I'm not quite sure how reliable it is, right? In terms of the logic, in terms of the accuracy.
It's a great question. So part of us releasing, so there is a lot of work that we're doing in writing the MCPs and the servers. Yep. There is even more work we're doing on what we call validation, right? Because the validation is not easy some of that is subjective.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is a lot of work that we're doing today on, did he bring in the answer? Did he bring in everything? And
right. Yeah, the false negative problem, right? Which is false positive is one thing. Worst case, you've wasted time. The false negative is, that's dangerous because you miss something. I mean, the other question I have, maybe a larger, higher level question, which is, it's kind of cool you're typing all these things in. Like if I'm a network admin, would I prefer to have an appropriate cPacket UI that does these things automatically for me, surfaces all the right things with the right colors, right alerts? Or would I be talking to my LLM, right? What's more efficient for what kind of task? Because the morning off task, I'd rather have a dashboard where what my business is, what my job is, and you've organized it for me in the way that's the most efficient for me. Maybe some preferences customization, but I'm not sure I want to be sitting there talking because I don't know what I missed, right? I don't know how to ask it, or some of the queries in there are very sophisticated, right? I don't know I could do that, right? It's really cool, right? But how do I know what I don't know, right? That's the difficulty.
Right.
To add on, these are really sophisticated prompts, and it's like you're copy and pasting this because you're saying, give me this, but don't give me this, and give me this, and don't give me this, which is obviously needed to get the right information, but now I'm sitting there with a spreadsheet or a text file sitting there copy and pasting every morning to do the same thing.
Yeah, that's a discovery problem, right? The UI, the UX discovery problem, which is that how do I know what the system is capable of? And in the good UX design, you help me understand it, and I know I've explored all the spaces completely. I feel comfortable as a network admin. Here, your space is infinite, right? Because I can type in anything I want in English, but I don't know what the capabilities are. I don't know how reliable those capabilities are. I think that's it's cool, demo-wise, right? It can be useful, but as a network admin, I'm sitting there and it's not deterministic enough, right? I'm worried, right?
So there are multiple questions that you asked. They're all great. So there is we don't also have in the other network field day, we did show the dashboard. Mm-hmm. So yes, absolutely. There are people,
which I'm sure we would all be very happy.
No, the card, what we call the cards.
Okay, I see.
Yes. So absolutely, yes, there is the logic to say, show me, choose for me what the information is, and you click. We didn't want to repeat the same thing that we did last time.
Yeah.
So absolutely there. I think there is the other level, which is one way to encourage. So one of the things that you need in order to do the characterization, right, is to choose the what is relevant for the user. Mm-hmm. That's this interaction is one way to get the reference. So as users ask us, we basically collect what they care, because a lot of that there is customization and there is personalization.
Yes.
Right. You may not care a specific on data center in Japan. Mm-hmm. So you say,
yep.
And I don't know that to begin with.
Yeah.
So the first dashboard will show everything, and then you can just like or didn't like. So the dashboard, as in show me all the cards and go from there, is absolutely there. The second question about the length of the prompt, that's something that becomes part of the RAG. For the quickness of setting up this, I didn't put it as but that's in the context of a project or a chat. So you don't have to copy it. And what was the third one? There was a third question. I think that was the length.
Yeah, I think the discovery. I mean, part of it. I think what Ryan was saying is that it's a very long prompt, right? And
right.
I mean, that prompt.
So the long prompt doesn't have to be there.
No, but we don't know.
Right. So this is when we put. Yeah. So this is all we're showing you what's coming, right?
Right.
So, but that's absolutely the validation is something we work a lot on. Making sure that the context in there is something that we work a lot on. I would say that at the end of the day, if you start peeling the onion, the issues that you deal with in a network are not infinite. They basically say, do I have a server issue? And the server issue, is it related to network? As in, when I see higher load, the server is loading, or is it something that has nothing to do? It's an application issue. And then if it's a network issue, it's going to be where in the network it's going to be, right? Is it a load balancer, a proxy, a router? So there is a lot more that we can do to basically structure the questions such that they're not that open. And that's part of the things we're doing now, right?
Yeah, and if it's sufficiently constrained, it shouldn't be a chat interface, right?
So like in here, there was something where it was talking about like you got, separate data charts for each VLAN listed at the bottom there. But if you're doing packet captures and not looking at like a switch config itself, you would only know what VLAN it's on if it's tagged, right? Like how if you've got a big network and you're going across VLANs, you've got an untagged VLAN or whatever. Is there a way that you can tell what that looks like, or are you just, here's an 802.1q tag on this packet, and then it came off. It could be, native VLAN 100. The packet doesn't know.
Yeah. So our packet brokering solution tags the packets. We have two ways. So what we call is the monitoring point. And a monitoring point is either the physical port that arrived at the packet broker, or in the cloud, the instance of the system that received it. So when I say VLAN here, but what I mean is a monitoring point, which is actually a physical location in your network based on either span or tap. Yeah. So again, the chat used VLAN. The way to think about it is a monitoring point. So where exactly in the network it happened, and essentially what this whole thing led me to say is this wasn't. So I did see a latency issue. So the server was reacting slowly at a given point of time, but it wasn't really an issue of the network. At that point, it was because I saw it everywhere in the network in the same way. That really meant that it was our basically VM host is running out of resources, or it was a good time to upgrade the host. I'll just stop it there, right? So the idea is really to be able to, again, if I don't have anything to do and I want to get the network to be better or the application to be better, this is the analysis you have time to run. A lot of interaction, then you need to decide, do I need to do something about my network, or do I go back to the application team and tell them to upgrade the server?
All right. So just to summarize, I think this really does highlight the key point that work goes on as a network operator, and these type of processes and tools will really help augment what you do today. Some folks want to stay on the dashboard. Some folks want to go to the command line. Some folks want to go to logs. The reality is it's about the clock, right? It's also about being proactive, and that's what we're really highlighting here, is that the AI is augmenting what you're currently doing. It gives you another tool in the toolbox. And I think, as Ron was saying, it's evolving. The technology is evolving so fast. Probably one of the core fundamentals is that you have enough capabilities to integrate it in different ways based on the workflow. And that's where the Model Context Protocol really does allow you to build these new NetOps agentic workflows, and we haven't built those yet. Like the customer is going to evolve with this, and we're going to evolve with the customer. But you do need to have all the data. You need the packet insights. You need the session-based metrics. You need to roll that into the capture. You need to get all of that together, and that's what we're really focused on. So the other thing is baselining, right? So because you're dealing with huge volumes of data, and to try to surface up on a Tuesday morning, trying to understand where to spend the time, the baselining is going to show you that anomaly, and that's going to help shorten the triage time. We do have to integrate this into the processes. So this might even be like a level 2 or a level 3 engineer problem where they know enough context of the network where they can run the prompt. But there may be other cases where it's a level 3 and it's a really complex issue and you do need to get into the details, right? And so now this is AI assisted to help you triage that faster. And we also know that we can get the timing down based on MTTR. That's our indicator. Which part of the network is it? The load balancer? Is it the application? We need to better understand that. So really, it's at the end of the day, it's going to be data driven, right? This is the outcome for the customer.